What you're going to watch is a short clip of our 1 hour full podcast. What we have done is we have picked up one small topic of interest so that you can just focus on that particular topic. But you can still watch the full podcast at the screen. A link is given. So how is your typical day goes by?
Yeah, so my current profile involves working with operations team in their understanding their pain points, understanding their current way of working, finding transformation objectives, and then working with engineering team, implementing those changes. These days there's a lot of focus on AI, then there's a lot of focus on data science, implementing those changes. Working with operations team to understand their pain points, and working with engineering team to understand their pain points as well. Working with our end stakeholders, which are research, product, working on the timeline perspective, because as I work in regulatory project, we have a strict timeline to implement those projects, and we cannot do lot of changes once we go live, because these are regulatory ones, so you need to take certain approvals, very time bound. My roles and responsibility involves working with different teams and working on globally and working on different initiatives. These are not involved with my current team. It also involves the cross-functional projects as well. So these days, the focus mainly is on AI implementation and implementing. How can you improve current processes? How can you bring efficiency? Because the way firm works is you have to work to get some efficiency gain. You have to work on the regulatory operation improvements. So yeah, these are my roles and responsibilities. It involves working with global teams, specifically in my location as well as other locations as well. As we have moved to a hybrid working now, so it's mainly remote plus local. But most of this now happens on the remote way, where we have to take calls on the local remotely platforms. These are my roles and responsibilities.
And nowadays, no job can be without challenges, right? So what kind of some challenges you talk about which you face in your current job, or you might have faced in the past as well?
So one of the key challenge after 2020 was adapting to the remote way work, because before that it was in-person work. So you can go to office. If you have any doubts, you can directly ask your seniors. Meetings used to happen in person. Majority of the meetings used to happen in person, where you have to you can go directly speak. Your doubts can be clarified. So once the role shifted to the remote work, it was again a new challenge, where you have to adapt to a situation where you have to understand people's aspects, their thoughts on a call. Then you have to ask them questions, because one of the key aspects of BA role is you have to ask questions, understand the problems. So that was another challenge. And then again, when the COVID went down and it again started a remote and plus hybrid working, so you again have to adjust accordingly. So whenever you are working from office, you have to make sure that you are connecting with your stakeholders, have some in-person workshops, in-person meetings, and then again go back to your remote working again, and you can then always have these conversations online, understand their aspects. The problem mainly challenge I face is when you are working hybrid way. Some of your colleagues are still working in office. Some of your colleagues are working from home. Not always your cameras are turned on, so you don't see themselves, right? So you have to understand message behind their what they are speaking on. You have to understand their pain points. At the same time, you have to understand your management goals, because you certainly have some objectives to meet quarterly, half yearly, or annually. So you have to understand your objectives and goals, and you have to align yourself. So you don't have to lose your track. And that's what I feel is one of the biggest challenge, because sometimes in the remote working concept, you have a lot of calls going on, back-to-back calls. You have to make sure you are taking some notes, or you have some to-do list, and you have to continuously work on it. Because we have found that project just lags because of continuous calls. So you have to make sure that you are not losing the track. You're making sure you're doing some tangible efforts to the project outcome. And there is some progress in your project. And that's where I think the check-in calls help. Refinement calls does help to you. And retrospective calls. So retrospective with your technical project managers or your manager or your operations team, it helps you where you are lagging and where you can improve yourself as an BA and improve yourself as an individual as well.